The call came on a Tuesday morning. I was making breakfast, scrambled eggs, turkey bacon, toast with butter, the way Marcus likes it. He was upstairs getting ready for school. Senior year, college applications sitting on the kitchen table. His future spread out in front of him like a road I'd paved with my own hands, one stone at a time. Then my phone rang, and I saw her name. LaShonda. Sister. I hadn't heard from LaShonda in 3 years, not since that Christmas when she showed up drunk, asking for money. Marcus had been 13 then. He'd watched from the stairs as I handed her $200 and told her not to come back until she was sober. She never came back. Until now. I should have let it go to voicemail. Lord knows I should have. But something in my chest, that old pull, that sister connection we had when we were kids, made me answer. Jane. Her voice was clear, sober. That scared me more than if she'd been drunk. We need to talk about Marcus. My hand went cold around the spatula. Marcus. My Marcus. The boy I'd raised since he was 3 years old. The boy whose homework I checked, whose tears I dried, whose basketball games I never missed. The boy who called me Mom, even though we both knew the truth. What about him? I kept my voice steady, calm. But inside, something was breaking loose. I want him back. 3 words. That's all it took to shatter 13 years. I turned off the stove. The eggs were burning anyway. LaShonda. I'm clean now, Jane. 2 years sober. I got a job, an apartment, a real life. She paused. I'm his mother. I want my son back. Your son. The words hit me like a fist. Because legally, technically, biologically, Marcus was her son. But in every way that mattered, every way that counted in the middle of the night when he had nightmares, or when he came home crying because some kid at school called him names, or when he made honor roll and needed someone to be proud of him. He was mine. You can't just... I started, but she cut me off. I can, and I will, unless... That unless hung in the air like smoke. Unless what? Unless you want to make this official, legal adoption, full custody transfer, all that paperwork you never filed because you didn't want to hurt me. She laughed, but it wasn't funny. I'll sign it all, everything. He can be yours forever. My heart jumped. This was what I'd wanted for 13 years. Legal proof that Marcus was mine. Security, safety. No more waking up in the middle of the night terrified that LaShonda would show up and take him away. But there's a condition, she said. Of course there was. $50,000. I stopped breathing. You heard me. 50,000? Cash. That's what it'll cost you to keep my son. Keep my son, like he was property. Like 13 years of love and sacrifice and sleepless nights could be bought and sold like a used car. You're extorting me, I said quietly. I'm giving you a choice. You want him? Pay for him. You don't? He comes back with me, and we see what the courts say about a biological mother who's gotten her life together versus an aunt who never even filed for legal guardianship. She was right. God help me. She was right. I'd never filed the papers. I'd told myself it was because I didn't want to hurt LaShonda, didn't want to officially take her son away. But the truth? I was scared. Scared of what it would mean. Scared of making it real, now that fear was choking me. I need time, I managed. You got 2 weeks. After that, I'm coming for him. The line went dead. Upstairs, I heard Marcus's door open, his footsteps on the stairs, his voice calling out, Mom, is breakfast ready? Mom. I closed my eyes and tried not to cry. I need to tell you how this started, because you need to understand. I didn't steal Marcus. I didn't trick LaShonda or manipulate her. She gave him to me. It was February. Cold. The kind of cold that gets into your bones and doesn't leave. I was 37 years old, divorced for 2 years, living alone in a 3-bedroom house that felt too big and too empty. Then LaShonda showed up. She was standing on my porch at 11 o'clock at night, holding Marcus's hand. He was 3 years old. He was wearing pajamas, Spider-Man ones with the feet built in, and his face was pressed against LaShonda's leg. He wouldn't look at me. Jane. LaShonda's voice was flat, empty. I need you to take him. I'd seen LaShonda high before. I'd seen her drunk, desperate, angry, scared, but I'd never seen her like this. Hollow, like someone had scooped out everything inside her and left just the shell. Come inside, I said, because what else do you say? It's freezin'. She didn't move. I can't do this anymore. Do what? Be his mother. She looked down at Marcus. He still wouldn't look at me. I thought I could. When I got pregnant, everyone said I couldn't do it, but I was going to prove them wrong. I was going to be different than Mama. Better. Our mother had died when I was 19 and LaShonda was 16. Heart attack. She was 42 years old and gone in an instant. After that, LaShonda spiraled. Drugs first, then men, then more drugs. By the time she was 21, she was pregnant with Marcus. I tried to help. God knows I tried. But LaShonda didn't want help. She wanted to prove she could do it alone. For 3 years, she did. Barely. But she did, until she couldn't anymore. LaShonda, you're tired. Come inside. Sleep. In the morning? In the morning, I'll be gone. Her eyes finally met mine. They were red, raw. I love him, Jane. I love him so much it's killing me. But I can't. I can't be what he needs. I'm drowning. And if I don't let go, I'm going to take him down with me. My throat closed up. You don't mean that. I do. She knelt down in front of Marcus. Her hands cupped his small face. Baby, you're going to stay with Auntie Jane for a while, okay? She's going to take good care of you. Marcus's lip trembled. Where you going, Mama? I gotta go away for a bit. Get better, but I'll come back. I promise. It was the kind of promise that breaks a child's heart. The kind you make when you know you're lying, but you don't have the strength to tell the truth. LaShonda? I started. Just take him. She stood up fast, like if she didn't do it now, she'd change her mind. Please, Jane. You're the only person I trust. You're the only person who won't let him end up like us. And then she was gone, walking away down the driveway, getting into a car I didn't recognize, driving off into the night. Marcus stood on my porch in his Spider-Man pajamas, watching his mother leave. Mama? His voice was so small. I picked him up. He was heavier than I expected, solid, real. It's okay, baby. Auntie Jane's got you. He buried his face in my neck and started to cry. I carried him inside. I didn't know then that LaShonda wouldn't come back for 3 months. I didn't know that when she did, she'd be high. I didn't know that the visits would get further apart, more chaotic, more painful. I didn't know that by the time Marcus was 5, he'd stop asking when Mama was coming back. I didn't know that I'd become his mother. But I did. People think being a parent is about the big moments. First steps, first words, first day of school, and yes, those matter. I remember every single one of Marcus's. But parenting is really about the small moments, the ones nobody sees. It's about waking up at 2 a.m. because a 3-year-old wet the bed and is crying because he's embarrassed. It's about learning how to do cornrows on YouTube because your nephew needs his hair braided for school pictures. It's about sitting through parent-teacher conferences and doctor's appointments and dental cleanings and pretending you're not terrified that someone will ask where his real mother is. It's about lying awake at night wondering if you're enough, if you're doing it right, if he'll resent you someday for not being his real mom. Marcus was 4 when he first called me Mom. We were at the grocery store. He was sitting in the cart, swinging his legs, and I was trying to decide between 2 different brands of mac and cheese. Then he pointed at another woman and said, "Mom, why that lady got so many cookies?" I froze, looked down at him. "What did you call me?" He blinked up at me with those big brown eyes. "Mom. Baby, I'm Auntie Jane." "I know." He went back to swinging his legs. "But you're my mom now." I should have corrected him. I should have explained that he had a mother, that LaShonda was his real mom, that I was just, what? Temporary? A stand-in? But I didn't. Because standing there in the cereal aisle of Food Lion, I realized he was right. I was his mom. Not because I gave birth to him, not because my DNA ran through his veins, but because I was the one who showed up every single day, in every way that mattered. So I bought the cookies, both kinds, and we went home and ate them for dinner, and I let myself be called Mom because that's what I was. LaShonda came and went over the years. Sometimes she'd disappear for months. Then she'd show up on holidays, sober for a few weeks, promising to do better. She'd take Marcus to McDonald's, bring him a toy, tell him she loved him. Then she'd disappear again. When Marcus was 7, she missed his birthday. He waited by the window all day, dressed in his new outfit, ready to go wherever she was taking him. She never showed. That night, I found him crying in his room. "She forgot me," he sobbed. "No, baby, she didn't forget. She's sick. I don't want her to be sick. I want her to be my mom." I held him. "I'm your mom too. But you're not my real mom." And there it was, the truth we'd been dancing around for 4 years. "You're right," I said. "I'm not your real mom. LaShonda is. But I'm your real mom too. Because being a real mom isn't about who gave birth to you. It's about who takes care of you, who loves you, who shows up." He looked at me with tears streaming down his face. "You show up. Every time, baby. Every single time." He hugged me so tight I thought my ribs would crack. "I love you, Mom. I love you too." That was the day I decided I needed to file for legal guardianship, adoption, something to protect him, to protect us. Because I knew, deep in my bones, that someday LaShonda would either disappear forever or try to take him back. I called a lawyer, made an appointment, filled out paperwork. Then LaShonda showed up sober, really sober. Not just clean for a week sober, but in a program, going to meetings, sober. She apologized to Marcus, took him to the park, brought him back on time, fed and happy. "I'm getting better, Jane," she told me. "I really am this time." I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to. Because despite everything, LaShonda was still my sister, and some part of me would always love her. So I canceled the lawyer appointment, told myself I'd reschedule later, that there was no rush. LaShonda's sobriety lasted 6 months. Then she relapsed, disappeared for a year. When she came back, Marcus was 9. He didn't want to see her. "She's not my mom," he told me. "You are. I don't need her." I made him see her anyway, because despite everything, she was still his biological mother. And I didn't want him to regret not having a relationship with her. But after that visit, he came home and asked me, "Can we make it official? Can you adopt me for real?" "Maybe," I said. "Someday." But I never did. I kept putting it off, making excuses, telling myself there was time, until there wasn't. After LaShonda's phone call, I didn't tell Marcus right away. I couldn't. How do you tell a 17-year-old boy that his biological mother, the one who abandoned him 13 years ago, wants him back? And that she'll only sign away her rights for $50,000? Instead, I called my best friend Denise. Denise and I went to high school together. She'd been there through my divorce, through LaShonda's addiction, through every hard moment of raising Marcus. If anyone could help me figure this out, it was her. We met at Starbucks. I ordered a coffee I didn't drink and told her everything. When I finished, Denise sat back in her chair and let out a long breath. That's some mess, Jane." "I know. She can't do this. It's extortion." "Technically, it's not. She's offering to sign papers voluntarily. She's just setting a price." "A price for her son." "She sees it differently. She thinks she's entitled to compensation for giving up her rights." Denise shook her head. "You really think she'd take Marcus if you don't pay?" I thought about it. Really thought about it. "I don't know. Maybe." She sounded serious. "And legally? She has a case. She's his biological mother. She's sober now. She has a job. If she fights for custody..." "You've been raising him for 13 years. Without legal guardianship. Without adoption papers. In the eyes of the law, I'm just his aunt. An aunt who's been helping out. But LaShonda could claim she's ready to parent now. And what judge is going to keep a child from his mother, who's gotten her life together? That's bullshit. That's the law." Denise leaned forward. "So what are you gonna do?" That was the question, wasn't it? What was I going to do? Option 1, pay the $50,000, drain most of my savings, but secure Marcus's future. Make sure LaShonda couldn't change her mind later. Give us both peace. Option 2, call her bluff, refuse to pay. Hope she doesn't actually follow through, but risk losing Marcus if she does. Option 3, try to fight her in court, but that would cost money too. Lawyer fees, court costs, and there's no guarantee I'd win. In fact, there's a good chance I'd lose. Because at the end of the day, LaShonda was his mother, and the system favors reunification. "I don't know," I admitted. "I don't know what to do." "Do you have $50,000? "In savings, yes, barely. I've been putting money away for Marcus's college, for his future, for emergencies." I laughed bitterly. "I guess this counts as an emergency?" "Jane?" "But if I give her the money, what does that teach Marcus? That you can abandon your child and then come back years later and demand payment? That love can be bought? That family is transactional? It doesn't teach him anything. He doesn't have to know. He'll find out eventually, and when he does..." I shook my head. I don't want him to know that his mother valued him at $50,000. We sat in silence for a moment. Then Denise said quietly, "What does your gut tell you?" My gut told me to pay it, to give LaShonda whatever she wanted, because Marcus was worth more than $50,000. He was worth everything. But my heart was breaking at the idea that I had to buy my own son. "I need to talk to Marcus," I said finally. "He deserves to know what's happening." "Are you sure?" "No, but he's 17, almost 18. This affects his life. He should have a say." Denise reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "Whatever you decide, I'm here." "Thanks, Dee." That night, I sat Marcus down in the living room. He could tell something was wrong. He'd always been perceptive like that. Mom, you okay? I took a breath. I need to tell you something. About your mother. About LaShonda. His face changed, closed off. What about her? She called. She wants to see you. No? Marcus, I said no. I don't want to see her. She's not my mother. You are. Legally, she is. And she's sober now. She says she wants you back. The color drained from his face. Back? Like, live with her? She's threatening to fight for custody if... I stopped. How much should I tell him? How much was fair? If what? I looked at my son. My boy. The child I'd raised from a scared 3-year-old to this tall, strong, smart young man sitting in front of me. He deserved the truth. If I don't pay her $50,000 to sign away her parental rights. Silence. Long and heavy. Then, she wants you to pay her? To keep me? She's offering to make the adoption legal, official, to sign papers saying I'm your mother in every way. But yes, for a price. Marcus stood up. His hands were shaking. So, I'm... what? Property? Something you buy and sell? Of course not, baby. That's exactly what this is. She's selling me for $50,000. His voice cracked. And you're actually considering paying it? Marcus, no. He was crying now, angry tears streaming down his face. You don't pay her. You don't give her a single dollar. Because if you do, that means she was right. That means she could take me. That means all these years, I was never really yours. You are mine. You've always been mine. Then prove it. Don't pay her. Fight her. Tell her to go to hell. Because I'm not going anywhere. I'm 18 in 5 months. Even if she gets some judge to say I have to go with her, I'll run away. I'll refuse. I'll do whatever it takes to stay with you. Because you're my mom. Not her. You. He ran upstairs, slammed his door. I sat there in the living room, staring at my hands, and realized something. Marcus was right. If I paid LaShonda, I was admitting that she had power over us. That she could waltz back into our lives after 13 years and make demands. That money could solve this. But Marcus was also wrong about one thing. Fighting LaShonda wasn't simple. It wasn't noble. It was risky. And if I lost, if some judge decided that a reformed mother deserved a second chance with her biological son, Marcus would be destroyed. So what was the right choice? I still didn't know. 3 days after Marcus and I talked, LaShonda showed up at my house. Uninvited, unannounced. I opened the door, and there she was. Sober, clear-eyed, wearing jeans and a sweater that looked new. Her hair was done, her nails painted. She looked good, healthy, like a version of my sister I hadn't seen in 15 years. Jane, she said, can we talk? Marcus was at basketball practice. Thank God. I let her in, offered her coffee. We sat at my kitchen table, the same table where I'd helped Marcus with his homework for 13 years, where we'd eaten dinners together, where we'd celebrated birthdays and holidays and every small victory. LaShonda looked around. You've done good with him, I can tell. He's a good kid. Because of you. She met my eyes. I'm not stupid, Jane. I know what you've done. I know you raised him, fed him, loved him. I know you're his mother in every way that matters. Then why are you doing this? Because I need the money. She said it simply, honestly. I'm in debt. $53,000, medical bills from when I was using, court fees, rehab costs. I got a job, but it barely covers my rent. I'm drowning, Jane. And I thought, I thought maybe this was my way out. By selling your son? She flinched. By giving him to you, officially, the way I should have done 13 years ago? You want him? I know you do. You want to adopt him, make it legal, make sure I can never take him away. Right? I didn't answer. So, I'm offering that. For a price. 50,000 clears most of my debt, gives me a fresh start, and you get Marcus. Forever. Legally. No more waking up scared I'll come back and ruin everything. It's a good deal, Jane. A good deal? My voice shook. You're talking about your child like he's a car, like he's a house. He's a person, LaShonda. A person you abandoned. A person I raised. And now you want me to pay you to keep doing what I've been doing for free for 13 years? You think I don't know that? Her voice rose. You think I don't hate myself every single day for what I did? For leaving him? For not being strong enough to be his mother? I know, Jane. I know exactly what kind of person I am. Then why? Because I'm trying to survive. Tears were streaming down her face now. I'm trying to build something, to be something other than the junkie who abandoned her kid. And yeah, maybe this is selfish. Maybe this makes me a monster. But I'm giving you what you want. I'm giving you Marcus. I'm just asking for something in return. You're asking for everything I have. Then he must mean everything to you. We stared at each other across the table. Sisters, strangers. Two women tied together by blood and trauma, and a boy who didn't belong to either of us anymore because he belonged to himself. I have a question, I said finally. If I don't pay you, if I call your bluff, will you really fight for custody? LaShonda was quiet for a long moment. Then, I don't know. Maybe. Probably not. Because you're right. I'd lose. Any judge would see that you're his real mother. That he's happy with you. That I have no business taking him away. But I'd try, Jane. I'd try because some part of me needs to know that I'm worth something to him. That I'm not just the woman who threw him away. So this is about you. Not Marcus. Not me. You. Everything's always about me, Jane. You know that. I'm selfish. I'm broken. I'm everything Mama said I'd be. She wiped her eyes. But I'm also honest. I'm telling you exactly what I want. $50,000, and I sign every paper you put in front of me. Marcus is yours. Forever. No takebacks. No regrets. No more middle-of-the-night panic that I'll show up and destroy his life again. You want that security? You pay for it. She stood up. You got 1 week left. After that, I'm calling my lawyer. You have a lawyer? She smiled sadly. No, but you don't know that. And then she left. I didn't tell Marcus about LaShonda's visit right away. I needed time to think, to process, to figure out what to do. But Marcus had always been smarter than I gave him credit for. That night at dinner, he looked at me and said, She came here, didn't she? How'd you know? Your face. You got that look. The one you get when you're trying to protect me from something. He put down his fork. What did she say? I told him everything. About the debt. About LaShonda's justification. About the fact that she probably wouldn't actually fight for custody, but she might. And that uncertainty was its own kind of torture. When I finished, Marcus was quiet for a long time. Then he said, Do you have the money? Yes. Do you want to pay her? I want this to be over. I want you to be safe. Legally mine. Forever. That's not what I asked. I sighed. No, I don't want to pay her. I don't want to give her a single penny, because paying her feels like admitting she has power over us, like we owe her something, and we don't. I don't. I raised you. I loved you. I did everything a mother is supposed to do, and she wants me to pay her for the privilege of continuing to do that? It's wrong. So don't pay her. But what if she fights? What if there's even a small chance a judge could rule in her favor? I can't risk losing you, Marcus. I can't. He reached across the table and took my hand. Mom, listen to me. I'm 17. In 5 months, I'm 18. Even if she somehow got custody, I could leave. I could choose to come back to you. The law can't force me to love her. It can't force me to call her mom. That's yours. It's always been yours. Baby. And besides, he continued, you taught me something growing up. You taught me that family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up, who stays, who fights for you. LaShonda didn't fight for me. She gave up. You didn't. So she doesn't get to come back now and claim me just because it's convenient or profitable. So you think I shouldn't pay her? I think. He squeezed my hand. I think you should do whatever lets you sleep at night. If paying her gives you peace, then pay her. If fighting her is what you need to do, then fight. Either way, I'm with you. Because you're my mom. And that's never going to change. Not because of some papers. Not because of $50,000. Not because of anything. I started crying. Right there at the dinner table. 13 years of fear and love and exhaustion just poured out. Marcus got up and hugged me. This tall, strong young man who I still thought of as that scared 3-year-old in Spider-Man pajamas. I love you, Mom, he whispered. I love you too, baby. I spent the next 4 days thinking, praying, crying, arguing with myself. On one hand, $50,000 would buy us peace, security, legal proof that Marcus was mine. No more fear, no more uncertainty, just closure. On the other hand, paying LaShonda would set a precedent. It would tell her, and Marcus, that love could be bought, that family was transactional, that abandonment could be forgiven with a check. I talked to Denise, my pastor, my lawyer friend Trina. Trina said, don't pay, she's bluffing, and even if she's not, you'd win in court. My pastor said, pray on it, God will guide you. Denise said, what does your gut say? My gut said, pay her and get it over with. My heart said, fight her and show Marcus what you're worth. My head said, there's no good answer here. On the 6th day, I made my decision. I called LaShonda. Jane? She sounded nervous. Good. I'm not paying you. Silence. I'm not paying you, I repeated. Because Marcus is not for sale. Because you gave up your right to him 13 years ago when you left him on my porch. Because being a mother is about more than biology, and you stopped being his mother the day you drove away. Jane, I'm not done. You want to fight me in court? Fine. Do it. Bring your lawyer. Bring your sob story about getting clean. But you know what I'll bring? 13 years of report cards, school pictures, medical records, teacher recommendations, basketball trophies. Every single piece of evidence that shows I'm his mother. Not you. Me. And maybe a judge will side with you. Maybe they'll say blood matters more than love. But I doubt it. And even if they do, Marcus is almost 18. He'll choose me. Every single time. Jane, please. But here's what I will do. I'll give you $5,000. What? $5,000. Not as payment for Marcus, not as some transaction, but as a final gift. Sister to sister. Because despite everything, you're still my sister. And I can't watch you drown in debt. So take the 5,000, pay off what you can, and sign the adoption papers. That's not enough. It's all you're getting. Take it or leave it. But decide now, because I'm done negotiating with you over my son. Another long silence. Then, okay. I'll sign the papers for 5,000. I didn't let myself feel relief yet. I want it in writing. I want you and me and a lawyer present when you sign. I want everything legal and official. No backsize. No changing your mind later. You sign, you take the money, and you walk away. Forever. Forever's a long time. It is. But that's what Marcus needs. Not a mother who drifts in and out. Not someone who shows up when it's convenient. He needs stability. And I can give him that. You can't. You're right. Her voice was small, broken. You're right about everything. So we're agreed? 5,000, legal adoption, and you let him go. Yeah, we're agreed. One more thing, LaShonda. What? If you ever try to contact Marcus without going through me first, if you show up at his school, his games, my house anywhere, I will get a restraining order. I will make sure you never see him again. Understood? Understood. Good. I'll have my lawyer call you to set up the signing. I hung up. My hands were shaking. My heart was racing. But for the first time in 6 days, I could breathe. I'd done it. I'd fought for Marcus. And I'd won. 2 weeks later, I sat in a lawyer's office with LaShonda and a notary public. Marcus wasn't there. I'd left him at home, told him I'd explain everything later. This moment didn't need to include him. This was between me and LaShonda. The papers were spread out on the table. Adoption papers. Parental rights termination forms. Every legal document that would make Marcus officially, permanently, legally mine. LaShonda looked at them like they might bite. You okay? I asked. No, but when am I ever? The lawyer, a kind woman named Patricia, walked us through each form, what they meant, what LaShonda was agreeing to, the permanence of it all. Once you sign these, Patricia explained, you are voluntarily terminating your parental rights. You will have no legal claim to Marcus, no custody, no visitation rights unless Jane agrees to it, no ability to change your mind later. Do you understand? LaShonda nodded. I understand. And you're doing this voluntarily, without coercion? Yes. Patricia looked at me. And you're agreeing to adopt Marcus as your legal son? To take full parental responsibility? Yes. My voice was steady. Sure. Okay, then let's begin. One by one, LaShonda signed the papers. Her signature was shaky. At one point, she stopped and just stared at the page. You don't have to do this, I said quietly. If you really want to be in his life, if you really think you can be a mother to him, then don't sign. Fight for him. Show him you care. She looked at me with tears in her eyes. I do care. That's why I'm signing. Because caring about him means letting him go. Means letting him have the life he deserves with the mother he deserves. And that's you, Jane. That's always been you. She signed the last paper. It was done. I pulled a check out of my purse. $5,000. Made out to LaShonda Marie Thompson. She stared at it. This is really happening. Yeah. I'm a terrible person. You're a person who did terrible things. There's a difference. She took the check, folded it carefully, put it in her pocket. Can I say goodbye to him? One last time? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Not now. Maybe someday, when he's ready. But that's his choice. Not yours, not mine. His. Fair enough? She stood up, extended her hand. Thank you, Jane. For everything. For raising him. For loving him. For being the mother I couldn't be. I didn't shake her hand. Instead, I hugged her. Because despite everything, despite the pain and the fear and the anger, she was still my sister. And some part of me still loved her. Get your life together, LaShonda, I whispered. For real this time. I will, I promise. We both knew that promise was as fragile as glass, but I let myself believe it anyway. LaShonda left. Patricia notarized the final documents, and just like that, Marcus was mine. Legally. Officially. Forever. I drove home with the papers in my passenger seat. When I pulled into the driveway, Marcus was sitting on the porch waiting for me. Well? He called out. I got out of the car, held up the papers. You're stuck with me now, kid. Legally and everything? His face broke into the biggest smile I'd ever seen. He ran down the driveway and hugged me so hard I thought my ribs would crack. I love you, Mom, he said. I love you too, baby. Forever. Forever. That was 6 months ago. Marcus is 18 now. He's getting ready for college. University of North Carolina, full basketball scholarship. He's grown another 2 inches. His voice has gotten deeper. He's becoming a man. I haven't heard from LaShonda since the signing. I don't know if she paid off her debts. I don't know if she stayed sober. I don't know if she thinks about Marcus, wonders how he's doing, regrets her choice. I hope she's okay. I really do. Because despite everything, she gave me the greatest gift of my life, the chance to be a mother. Marcus asked about her once, a few weeks after the adoption was finalized. Do you think she ever loved me? He said. We were eating dinner. Spaghetti, his favorite. Yes, I said. I think she loved you the best way she knew how. It just wasn't enough. But that doesn't mean it wasn't real. Do you think I'll ever see her again? Maybe. Someday, if you want to, when you're ready. He nodded. I don't know if I want to. Part of me is still so angry, but part of me is just sad. For her. For what she lost. That's okay. You're allowed to feel all of it. Did you do the right thing? Paying her? I thought about it. I didn't pay her for you. I paid her to go away. And yeah, I think I did the right thing. Because what matters isn't how we got here. What matters is that we're here, together. And that's not going to change. He smiled. No, it's not. People ask me sometimes if I regret not adopting Marcus sooner. If I'm angry at myself for waiting 13 years. For giving LaShonda so many chances. For not filing the papers when I should have. The truth? Yeah, sometimes I am. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about all the ways this could have gone wrong. About how close I came to losing him. But mostly, I'm just grateful. Grateful that LaShonda trusted me with her son. Grateful that Marcus calls me Mom. Grateful for every basketball game and parent-teacher conference and late-night talk about girls and college and the future. Grateful for this messy, complicated, beautiful thing we call family. Because that's what I learned through all of this. Family isn't about DNA. It's not about who gave birth to you or whose blood runs in your veins. It's about who shows up, who stays, who fights for you even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. LaShonda is Marcus's biological mother. That's a fact. That will never change. But I'm his real mother, the one who raised him, who loved him, who would have fought heaven and earth to keep him. And yeah, I had to pay for that privilege. $5,000, a number that sounds so small when I say it out loud, but felt massive when I wrote that check. Was it fair? No, Was it right? I don't know, but it's what I had to do to keep my son, and I'd do it again, 1,000 times over. Marcus will leave for college in 2 weeks. His bags are packed, his dorm room is assigned, his future is spread out in front of him like a highway with no end in sight. Last night, I wrote him a letter. I don't know if he'll read it now, or years from now, or ever. But I needed to write it. To put into words everything I've been feeling. Dear Marcus, by the time you read this, you'll be at UNC, living your life, becoming the man you're meant to be. And I'll be here, in this house that's too big and too quiet without you, missing you every single day. But I want you to know something. I'm so proud of you. Not because you're smart or talented or good at basketball. I'm proud of you because you're kind, because you're thoughtful, because you took a broken situation, a mother who abandoned you, an aunt who didn't know what she was doing, and turned it into something beautiful. You turned it into us. People will ask you about your family, about your past, about why you call me mom when I'm technically your aunt. And you can tell them whatever you want. You can tell them the truth. You can tell them a version of the truth. You can tell them it's none of their business. But if you want my advice, tell them this. Family is the people who show up, the people who stay, the people who love you even when you're unlovable. And I showed up for you every single day of your life from the moment you were 3 years old. Not because I had to, not because it was easy, but because you were worth it. You've always been worth it. Your mother, LaShonda, she gave you life. And for that, I'll always be grateful to her. But I gave you everything else. Love, stability, a home, a future. And I don't regret a single moment. So go to college, chase your dreams, build your life, and know that no matter where you go or what you do, you'll always have a home here. With me. I love you, baby. Forever and always. Mom. I fold the letter and put it in Marcus's suitcase. He'll find it when he unpacks. He'll read it. And maybe he'll cry, or maybe he'll smile, or maybe he'll just fold it back up and put it in a drawer to look at years from now when he has kids of his own. But he'll know. He'll know that he was loved. Completely. Unconditionally. By a woman who wasn't his biological mother, but was his mother in every way that mattered. And that, I think, is enough. That has to be enough. Because at the end of the day, that's what family is. Showing up for each other. Loving each other. Fighting for each other. Even when it costs $50,000. Even when it breaks your heart. Even when it's the hardest thing you've ever done. You show up. You stay. You love. And that's what I did for Marcus. That's what I'll keep doing. For the rest of my life.